Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. So we have a review today that was requested by Loretta O'Malley, and actually quite a few other people have requested this over the course of time. I actually think Stardust recently also requested this. This is the Dinosauria Sideshow Apatosaurus version 2. I never was able to get a hold of the first version. This, along with the Carnotaurus, were the two that I really wanted to have both versions of, because I actually am a bigger fan of both of those when it came to the first version over the second version. But that is not to say that this version is not absolutely incredible, because trust me, it is, and it is probably the most striking and jaw-dropping piece that I have in my collection in person. It is just huge, absolutely gigantic, and some of the video of it in here is probably actually going to have to be taken outside where I have enough room to really capture this entire thing in all of its beauty, and this actual review is probably going to be incredibly hard to film due to the fact that this is so huge. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this unbelievable Dinosauria Sideshow Apatosaurus right now. Now you're going to have to bear with me if this review is a little bit shaky, a little bit complicated. Due to the size and weight of this Apatosaurus, it is going to be definitely pretty hard to do, but you can see the head sculpt of the Apatosaurus is just absolutely beautiful. Such a majestic, peaceful appearance to the head sculpt of the Apatosaurus. It looks so kind and so just like, it just really has that gentle giant look to it. So the head sculpt and all the detailing within is amazing. The mouth looks very nice, very beautifully sculpted, and you can see the nostrils sculpted out up there, as well as a few different variations of brown included in the snout and then up on the head of the Apatosaurus. The detailing around the eye as well is really nicely done, and you can see some beautiful skin detail right here in this area with the Apatosaurus turning its head to the left, kind of bunching the skin up and scrunching the skin. It looks really, really nice, as well as just in general beautiful skin texture throughout the face. The eye is a black coloration, and it is absolutely spot on to where it should be as far as the paintwork goes. As we start to move down the neck, you can see tons and tons of detail within. Really nice detailing as far as the skin texture, lots of creases and cracks and crevices throughout the neck of the Apatosaurus, and it's that same way through the entire length of the neck, and you can see it's been given a really nice dark wash to bring all the detail out beautifully. And you can also see that it has this very nice striping with a brown down the entire length of the neck, and it's like many different variations of brown within those stripes, so it looks extremely realistic. And you can see the neck gets very large down here at the base of the neck. It's huge, a very massive statue for sure. And again, the paint all looks fantastic as far as the way it's applied. It's all very naturally applied, very realistically applied. The detail here on the underside of the neck as well is just unbelievable. There is so much sculpt and detail put into this Apatosaurus that, again, is one of the many reasons that this is one of the absolute highlights of my collection, and one thing that I have never put away from the moment I've owned this, the moment I purchased it. It has never gone back in the box. A lot of my sideshow pieces stay in their boxes because unfortunately I don't have enough room to display them all, but this one definitely is not one of them. As you move up here into the body, you can see the shoulder blade protruding from the skin there. Really nice kind of skin detail here right where the base of the neck connects to the body, and really beautiful skin detail right there as the skin is kind of reacting to the movement of the leg, and you can see the leg is curved upward as it's taking a step. Beautiful skin detail and beautiful wrinkling and creasing in the skin the entire way down to the leg. It's a little hard to actually get that foot into position, but you can see that the foot sculpt is really nicely done. Beautiful nail there sticking out of the side, and even the nail kind of looks like it has like cracks to it, so it looks very realistic, like it's a completely living animal. The skin texture continues to look just beyond phenomenal. You could just generally see so much going on as far as the skin movement here in the sculpt. It really genuinely looks like a real living animal in the way that the skin is reacting to the movement of the body. It's just unbelievable. Every ounce of detail that should be included is included in this Apatosaurus. You can even see like the spinal column running along the top of the animal up there, and many different variations of color and paint application included throughout. You can also see the hip bone here as the dinosaur is putting a lot of pressure on this leg stepping down, so you can really see that hip bone kind of elaborated right there. Beautiful muscle tone as we move down the length of the leg. Very large foot sculpt down here. And again, just look at that detailing. That is just unbelievably gorgeous. You also have a kneecap up here in the front. The foot sculpt is ridiculously nice right there. And then again, some more incredible skin texture and skin sculpted out here, skin movement sculpted out here as we move up into the tail. And we lead out the length of the tail, which I'm not going to go the entire length of the tail right now. It just is very, very long, and it's going to be complicated to get in screen here. But trust me, it is beautiful. You'll see a better look at it when I actually get it outside and can take some better pictures of it for you. But it really is just phenomenal. Unbelievably large for sure. Looking at the opposing side, we can't really get the head in right now, but I'll show you a better look at that side of the head again when I take some better video of it outside. But you can see again the neck is sculpted to the absolute max as we move down the neck. Beautiful paint application as well. Everything as far as the paintwork goes looks very, very natural, very realistically done. The detailing here looks just absolutely gorgeous. You have the shoulder blade again protruding from the skin. As you move down, the skin detail continues to look amazing. Every area where the skin should be reacting to the movement of the animal is shown brilliantly in the sculpt. You can really see kind of like the muscles tensing in this foot, as this foot is primarily holding up the entire body due to the rear foot there lifting up off the ground. Again, just gorgeous sculpt work as far as the skin texture here in the stomach region. Just beautiful. It is insane how nicely sculpted this is. You can see the hip bone once again, some kind of large scales here and there, almost scoot-like scales. Very nice muscle tone as we move down this leg. You can see the skin once again stretching off of the body right there. This leg sculpt looks just as beautiful as the previous side did. And then we lead up here, some more really nice movement of the skin shown here as we lead out the length of the tail once again. And even the detail on the underside here as we turn this over is just gorgeous. Absolutely insane how much sculpt and detail is put into this Apatosaurus. The base as well is really, really nice. You can see some fantastic detailing throughout that base, and just the overall sculpt work of the base is pretty much as nice as the Apatosaurus itself. And then you have kind of this weird rocky area underneath. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't really know what the point of this was, but I mean, I don't think it really takes away from it too much or anything, but I would have preferred maybe it had just been this. But regardless, it's still pretty cool, and the base itself does look really nice as far as both the sculpt and paint goes on that. As far as a size goes, from the tail to the head, you are looking, and it's upside down unfortunately, but you are looking at about almost 41 inches, about 40 3/4 inches long, or about 103 centimeters, somewhere in that range as far as a length goes. That is just insanely large and easily the longest dinosaur model that I have in my collection. And the highest point is definitely going to be the head. So for a height to the top of the head, you're looking at about 11 inches or 28 centimeters. So pretty tall on top of being insanely, insanely long. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Apatosaurus. And you should now be able to see for sure how unbelievably large this Apatosaurus is. It is just gigantic. Again, one of the many reasons why this is such a huge, striking piece, and probably like the centerpiece to any collection if someone owns it. It is just unbelievably large and unbelievably beautiful. So this Dinosauria Sideshow Apatosaurus Maquette, the second version, is easily one of the best pieces I have in my collection, quite possibly the best piece I have in my collection, because it is just amazing overall, just ridiculously nice quality. Again, I am so sad that the Dinosauria Sideshow line does not continue and has not continued since their Gastonia, because they made some of the best dinosaur statues we will ever see, and this Apatosaurus is without question proof of that. Again, anybody that has the privilege of owning one of these will know exactly what I'm talking about with just how incredible it is overall. You can see that every single ounce of detail is sculpted so beautifully throughout this sculpt of this Apatosaurus that it just makes the entire thing look so unbelievably gorgeous and lifelike that words are honestly hard to explain just how good it looks in person. It's one of those things where you almost need to see it in person to really be able to just take it all in and just stand back and admire the overall beauty of this piece. There's only literally one downside, more like two downsides to the figure, but one is kind of something that's to be expected. The one downside that I could say that is, again, something that's to be expected is the fact that it's made of resin, so it's fairly fragile, and the tail specifically is really fragile, and in fact mine actually has a crack in it because of just how fragile it is. It had that crack when it arrived, and just shipping these, I think, were a pretty big problem for Sideshow when they had initially made this Apatosaurus due to that tail being so long and so thin. It's kind of a miracle when you actually receive one without any type of damage to the tail. So I was really happy that mine just had a little crack, but the tail was still connected. I didn't have to repair it or anything when it arrived, so that was a huge plus. But at the same time, being resin and having such a long tail, it is a bit of a difficulty to ship this without it getting damaged. If you do happen to have it arrive, though, without any damage, then you're pretty much good as gold then. Just don't bump it on anything or it will break. And that is one of the many problems with resin models, is they are very fragile and can snap or chip or anything if they're bumped into anything. So just be very careful with your model if you do actually acquire one of these. But the only other kind of a weird downside is, and I've seen this on many different people's versions that they have, is that there's a random white spot on the shoulder, and I have absolutely no idea why it's there. It's never been explained to me. Nobody else, as far as I know, has any idea why it's there, because you don't see that white coloration anywhere else on the body except for randomly on this one spot on the shoulder area, and it's just very, very strange, very out of place. But aside from that, the sculpting of this Apatosaurus is so insanely lifelike and unbelievable that, again, I am just head over heels in love with this. The paintwork as well, although in my opinion not as nice as the original one, is still really nicely done, and overall has a very realistic appearance to it, something that I without question could imagine a sauropod looking like. If it happened to walk down my street, I could definitely see this type of a paint scheme on it, because it looks very natural, all really nice natural tones, and somehow allowing it to have a bit of a flashy look to it with those nicer, darker tones. And I feel like that's something that's kind of hard to really pull off with an Apatosaurus or any type of a larger sauropod. But Dinosauria Sideshow absolutely pulled that off perfectly here with this Apatosaurus. Again, an unbelievable piece of dinosaur history right here, and if you happen to have the opportunity to buy one of these, it's probably going to be pretty expensive, because they definitely do run quite a bit as far as a price tag nowadays goes, because it's been sold out for a long time. But if you do happen to get one, you will never in a billion years regret picking this up, because it is that amazing. So I will try my best to include a link in the description for you to purchase this if you would like, but it's probably going to be pretty tough to do. But if I can, check the description, be prepared for a very high price, and also be prepared for an overall beautiful model if you do in fact buy it. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe before you go doing all that, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.